Your camera is packed with features, but do you really need all of them? Did you know that actually some of these features, instead of helping you, they actually ruin your photography? Some of them just slow you down, and other ones are draining your battery, and the third ones will just announce everybody that you're here and you're taking a photo. Do you really want that? So let's go through some of the features and see which ones we should turn off. The first one and the most obvious one is probably the beeping. I don't know why they even put this feature turned on by default. You're pointing your camera, you're focusing on someone, you're half pressing the button, and at the moment it focuses, the camera would say beep beep. And people who are in near surrounding to you will immediately know that you're trying to take a picture or you're taking a picture. Basically, they will be aware of your existence. So that one is the first one to switch off. Usually all these beeps are located under sound settings in your camera. You just take a look in your menu or just look for disable all sounds in Google or one of the AI tools of today, and you will immediately find your answer. Depends on your camera model. You can do a quick search online and just type something like disable sounds in your camera model, and you will get the instructions of how to get rid of these annoying beeps. The other one that is really annoying one, and for some reason, some people who get used to it, they are having a very hard time to disable it and stop using it, and it's image preview. In many cameras, the default settings is the moment you're taking a photograph, it will display it on the screen, and it will stay there for like 2 seconds, and then you can continue shooting. It slows you down. Sometimes you're in a scene that is happening in fractions of a second, so it's tack. You don't need to take a shot and every time look around. Take a shot and look around. It's called chimping. You should stop doing that. Go there, take the series of images that you're planning to take, and later on you can review them by just pressing the play button. Pressing the play button isn't difficult at all, so just disable these auto review features. They're stopping you down. Another feature that you should look and try to disable is autofocus light assistant. Most of the cameras have these small LED-like light that starts turning on when there's a low light quality. In many of the cameras, there's this small LED light that helps the camera to focus in case you're in extremely bad lighting conditions. But actually, most of the cameras today, they're pretty capable in photographing in low light. So you don't really want that. For example, imagine that you're like in a poorly lit church, or like you're shooting something in the dusk and in a very low light conditions. And that light just announces you, I'm here, I'm taking a photograph. And if the person is busy with something else, we immediately respond to lights. So that one needs to go off as well. Another things that you should consider removing are all the information displayed on your display. When you're looking through the viewfinder, you would usually have which kind of film simulations you're using, what is your shutter speed, what is your ISO, what is your, drive mode, are you shooting continuously, what is your focus mode. It's like a big square of all kinds of different details. And usually it's on the display button in most of the camera manufacturers. I don't know which camera you have, you just need to check it. Do a few presses and take and see if you can get rid of some of them. Choose the screen that has the minimum details. I think that your exposure details are just enough. Get rid of that one too. Having all this information like in a fighter jet cockpit doesn't help you at all. It just distracts the corners of the image. So you are doing fine with the middle of the scene, but then you can see that you didn't put someone's hands into the frame or you cut something by mistake. It's because you have all these things around, so switch them off. Apart from the mandatory things that we need to switch off, there are also some things that we should consider switching off. And one of them is the silent shooting mode. Well, the silent shooting mode is very useful when you want to shoot quietly without being noticed and without interrupting the people. But in many cases, especially when there's a fast movement or some artificial lighting, it can introduce bending and some artifacts to the photograph. So this is something that you need to keep in mind, especially when your light is going lower and you're shooting fast action, if you should disable the silent shootings. On the newer camera models with the latest sensors that are having a very quick read speed, this is not an issue, but on the little bit older models, you still have issues of rotor shutting and bending. So you need to consider if you're shooting with manual shutter or a silent one. So far, my camera doesn't have this fast sensor. I'm using a manual shutter all the time. And I don't mind, because after I clicked already the photo is in my camera, I didn't disturb the scene before. I disturbed it after the photograph was taken, not before that. And this is also an opportunity to say, hey, I took a photo of you. Want to take a look? Usually people respond quite fine to that. The other thing that we should consider switching off is face detection and eye detection. Especially if it's a moving scene, a lot of people are moving from side to side, the camera can get really confused whose face is what and just start focus breathing, and you can later on find out that a lot of your photos are out of focus. So in these kind of situations, just switch to a single point focus and try to focus on a particular subject that you're interested to focus on. So with many subjects, consider switching the face detection off. One more setting that exists in many of the newer cameras is all sort of dynamic range optimizations. These dynamic range optimizations, they're designed so they can shrink the dynamic range. If there's like a lot of highlights and a lot of shadows, they would usually help to pull out some details from the shadows. But actually, what they do, they introduce, they're taking several shots together. If you're a RAW shooter and not a JPEG shooter, you don't need that. You can pull your shadows perfectly fine using your graphic reductor after that. You press it, I don't know, whatever you're using. If you're shooting JPEG, you can consider it, because what happens is the camera just plays around with your exposure. You're putting an ISO of 100 and suddenly in the middle of the day, because the camera wants to lift shadows, you find your settings on the ISO of 500, 640, sometimes even 800 during the day. And I was like, something is messing around with my camera. And that was a setting that I switched off. But if you're shooting JPEG, you might consider leaving it. But if you're shooting RAW, definitely take it off, out. Another setting that a lot of photographers actually like to keep it on is all kinds of levelings and grids. If you're doing architectural style street photography, it's fine to keep them. But if you're doing dynamic street photography, it's better to take them off, because it kind of like trying to get that alignment interferes with your shooting process. You better try and work with diagonals and the background. Like the tilt of the background, it's in many cases is just not as important as the story. So just take it off. And in normal situation, you can usually, if you're paying attention to the background, you can usually place your camera relatively still. So this also, I'm referring as well as all the rule of thirds, grids and everything. So just take this off if you can. Another setting that can mess up with your shooting is the exposure simulation. In many cases, you're getting into a dark lit environment, and the camera, to allow you to compose better and focus better, it will just bump the exposure for you, just for what you're seeing in the viewfinder to a certain degree. But then when you're clicking on the button, you would see that, oh, the images are too dark or too bright. All these mirrorless exposure preview settings, they need to go as well, because you're not seeing what kind of exposure you're actually capturing. The camera just shows you some kind of exposure, but your settings do not reflect that. So you should always see in your viewfinder how exactly you're exposing and which colors you're using exactly. So it needs to be as closest to the truth as possible. The only reason to turn this on is if you're shooting in a dark studio and you're using artificial lights and you just want to compose properly. But this is in a very controlled environment. So yes, in a controlled environment, you can turn it on. Outside on the streets, no way, turn it off. And now about autofocus methods. The modern cameras became so smart that they can give you a list of different focusing scenarios. And sometimes these are just too much. If you're using only 2 or 3 of them, just disable everything else. Just leave the 2 or 3. There is no need to have all the 12, 15, 16 different types of focusing, and then you just need to go from one to another until you get exactly what you need. Consider switching these ones as well. But how do you decide which one exactly to disable? I do suggest you to disable certain things, but how do you know which settings to keep and which settings to disable? I do suggest you some of the things based on my own personal experience, but you need to sit down, play around with the settings, check how they affect your personal photography journey, and see whatever is good for you. Simplifying your settings will make the process of photography smoother and faster, and you will be able to focus on photography itself rather than playing with the camera. But the camera is important as well. Just learn your camera properly, learn your settings properly, and go out and have a happy shooting. You know what to do now. Bye-bye.